So you decided you want to fix your rusty truck. You go buy the patch panels, you start doing cutting, and you decide stuff don't fit. Today I'm going to show you the process I go through to minimize the amount of pain involved in using replacement panels to fix your rusty truck. Stick around. So what I'm going to talk about applies overall. You guys have been following me along. You know that I'm currently working on a 57 Chevy pickup and a 67 Chevy pickup. So over the last week or so, I've managed to get this thing tilted up on its sides. Today, I want to talk about replacement panels. For this build, my plan is to buy the replacement panels. On the international pickup we made everything. And on the 57, we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to make all the panels. Now, I will admit, I bought cab corners, because those are kind of a bear. But other than that, I'm going to do my best to make all the patch panels. So I went to LMC, it's been a while ago. I picked up the patch panels I thought I was going to need. You guys have been hanging around a while. You know that didn't work out very well, because I ended up having to replace the inner and outer roof skin on this thing, as well as the top header. If you missed that, I'll leave a link in the description. That was process. Anyway, but I flipped this over and I started cleaning this up. It occurred to me that maybe some of you guys, that if you're new to patch panels, you might find this useful. So the first thing I do, obviously, is I kind of walk around this thing and just look it over, because it's easy to say you're going to need this, but now that you're going to put it on, you need to kind of scope out, okay, how bad is this, and where do I think I'm going to have to cut to put it on? So I'm going to get the camera around, I'm going to show you what we got here. So this is the driver's side, and this is the front cab mount. It actually feels, and I'll beat on this, I still have to clean up the undercoating, and I don't know an easy way to do that. It is a messy, time-consuming job. But anyway, you got to clean up the undercoating. In this case, I want to clean this whole thing up because I want to paint the bottom of it and get it all prepped so that when it goes on the truck, it's on the truck. I don't plan on taking it off again. So I want to finish the bottom. If we go on down on the driver's side, this is the floor. See, so when I was at LMC, I didn't get that piece. Don't ask me why I didn't get that piece, but so I'm going to have to get the repair panel for the floor. I got the outer rocker. The inner rocker is actually part of the floor, so you get the patch panel for the floor, you get the inner rocker. On the bottom, this bottom's kind of a different story. So it's rusted out on the end here. Rust actually goes into that main cab brace, which means you're gonna have to work around that cab brace, which I suspect we're gonna have to take that patch panel all the way back to here to get this all cleaned up. We go to the pasture side and we kind of got the same thing. This one's a little worse for wear. This is kind of dented in, but it feels like there's probably solid metal right here, so we could probably cut this here and just replace this outer section. That's the cab mount. If you're wondering what that is, I believe that's the alignment hole for the assembly process. I don't know this for sure, but I suspect that's what the jig, when they had the cab on a jig, it went through that hole and probably the middle hole's there, because that's the cab. Don't know that, but that's what I believe. Coming down, we have the floor, the inner rocker, and obviously the outer rocker is a mess too. Then we get down to this. Our focus today is cab mounts. So this one looks about like the other one. And this panel right here is a floorboard, which is this section right here. You can kind of see the inside of the cab there. That's what this is. That's missing. We're gonna have to put this piece in too. All right, you kind of looked it over. The next step is to figure out, are these gonna fit into what you think you're gonna have to replace? So here's the patch panel for this side. First thing I do is just take a tape measure and just measure to see if this seems to be the same as that. I definitely have experience of the repair panels not being bent the same as the factory ones. This one, well, that's about 2 1/4. Well, that's 2 1/4. And I've already measured this. The distance from the bend to the end is about 13 inches, and that's the same on this. So as near as I can tell at this point, this is actually bent pretty well. I think from a fit standpoint, this thing's gonna fit. If you're paying attention, you notice there's 4 bolts right here. You also may have noticed there's no holes in this one. In general, that doesn't seem like a problem. But if you're gonna take this and put in there, you need a reference line. And if you measure the flange on the top is about, well, it's a little less than 1 inch. And that one maybe 1 1/8 inches. This flange is close to 1 1/4 inches. So you can't just scribe a line and then mate up the edge of the flange, because if you do that, you're going to end up with this thing cocked down. That is probably one of the most critical things. Is I don't know that I've ever had a repair panel that the flanges were the same on a repair panel as it was on the original. I think that would be easier to get right, but it isn't. So you got to be very careful in terms of, you got to figure out what your reference is so that when you put this in there, it's in the same place. Because the reason I'm making a point of this is you have to drill holes in this. And given that you get to drill the holes, you kind of need to know where this thing is going to be up a little like this or less like this. Because once you drill holes in it, you're kind of toast, right? I guess you can weld them up, but you'd like to get them right. First thing is figure out what you're going to use as baseline. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to work off the center line. So I'm going to stick me a piece of tape on here. I'm going to mark the center line here, and I'm going to measure this, and I'm going to basically scribe a line right here. That's the other thing. Don't take anything apart you don't have to take apart. In my case, I know I'm going to have to replace this inner rocker. I'm going to have to replace the floor, the rocker. All this stuff's going to have to get replaced. But don't take any of that off that you don't have to take off, because the more you leave there, the easier it is to fit this panel. So I moved the camera to the other end. Sun's coming up over the tree, so the light's better. One thing I forgot to mention on the inspection process, and I don't think I just didn't think about it because it's not an issue on this truck, but on my 71, this whole corner was rusted, and this side of the cab through just miles and miles and miles of, beating it, because it had been driven that way for a long time. This side of the cab actually dropped down. So when I did that one, the floor was rusty, and I didn't realize it was as bent as it was. When I fit this front cab mount, I ended up tweaking the cab mount to make it fit, when in reality, I should have jacked up the side of the cab to get the panel to fit the cab mount. That actually caused me a lot of problems. I ended up getting the floor pulled up, but in doing so, I ended up pulling this A-pillar in about 1/8 of an inch, maybe 3/16. It just made the alignment for everything a real pain. Just make sure you look it over and make sure everything looks like it is where it needs to be. That means you need to step back and just kind of look at the whole picture and see, all right, does this side look like this side? And take some measurements. And I actually have. I've taken a lot of measurements on this cab, and I don't think this cab is bent or twisted or tweaked or anything. So I feel pretty confident if I cut this out and put the new one in, that everything is going to stay right. Sure make life a lot easier if flanges were the same size, so there was something to line up. But we'll get it done. So mark this center, mark that center, so we know this gets back in the right place. And since this is the same width as this, I should be able to flush this up and put that in there. Call that done. That side is about the same. The bottom ones, let's spend a little time talking about the bottom ones. So on the bottoms, you got to do the same thing. Make sure the panels are the same. All right, it looks like that corner is still solid, and that corner. We'll go to the other side. We'll measure that one too. So we got about 4 3/8. Well, that's pretty close. Got 4 3/8 there. Well, it looks like it will cover the full distance. One more thing, if you haven't done these before, there actually is a left and right. I don't remember the other panels I got being stamped, but this actually says right, and this one actually says left right here. Tell the difference. The flange going to the back of the cab has a bigger flange than the one going to the front of the cab. This flange right here, that gets bent over as 90 because that is that flange right there. It's little tidbits like that that make the time spent up front, you know, kind of doing a forensic analysis of the whole project. It's things like that that will bite you. If you don't notice that that needs to be 90, if you've done patch panels, there seems to always be extra material on patch panels. I guess in my experience, it's just as likely that you'd need to cut off that tab as it would be to bend it. So paying close attention to what's on your truck or on your vehicle originally and then comparing that to everything you got that's a good plan. So going back to this bottom cab mount, the replacement panels, and you can probably see that, the replacement panels, the flanges are almost never 90 degrees or whatever the factory had. Almost never. I hate to say never, but almost never. They're not the same. So you just have to give up that hope. On panels like this that are like a C channel, I've had panels that were kind of squished. So you need to kind of do your best to make sure that before you take your panel off, you get your reproduction panel kind of back in the same shape. And that holds true for any panel. I've got a replacement panel on the Mustang, and the fender looked really, it's a front fender. You would think that actually now that I think about it, the rear quarter for the Camaro was just like that. Somewhere it got just a little tweaked. And so on the Camaro, I was able to set that, because it wasn't a complete quarter, it was just a patch. I was able to set that quarter up on the Camaro before I took it off. You know, it had all the rust over the wheel wells, but in terms of shape, I was able to set that on there and get the thing tweaked so that that quarter panel fit pretty well to the factory. On the Mustang, that was a totally different animal. Apparently, the repo fender I got for the Mustang was old dies, and the corner where the fender is creased, right on the Mustang, where that fender's creased, there was a lot of difference between the sharpness of the repo panel and the sharpness of my factory panel. That one, I hate to say it, but that one I ended up using the repo panel just to patch the factory panel. And sometimes you get into that. You may really, really want to use the replacement panel, but it just kind of comes down to what you want the final product to look like. In the case of the Mustang, I wanted that sharp corner, so I really cut up the factory panel and patch it. It was a lot of work. Looking back on it, I should have just spent the time and found a factory original panel. And that's the other thing. Do whatever research you can. You know, go to forums and just find out how accurate the corners are on the panels. In case of the cab mounts, I don't really care. As long as the shape is going to be right and the width is right, I'm not sure I really care whether that curvature is the same on the replacement panel as it is on the cab. That's another point. Pick your battles. None of these are going to be perfect. So unless you're doing Pebble Beach stuff, you're wasting your time. Don't worry about it. So let's review. Make sure you do a good job of looking over the vehicle. You really look it over and identify the rust and identify any problems that rusty support panels could have caused, right, by being rusted out. Is something sagging? If it is, you really do need to get your vehicle up level, get it jacked up, because before you put the replacement panels in, everything needs to be in its right place. If not, you're just going to build in the problems, and it causes more problems down the road. Before you dive off into a project, really spend the time and look at the situation that you currently have. You may have a lot of upfront work to do to just get the body panels where they were supposed to go. They can be rusted out and they can be bent, but the key points need to be in the right place. Otherwise, when you cut the metal out and replace it, chances are it's not going to be in the right place, and trying to get your patched body back where it needs to go is kind of a losing battle. So really spend some time looking over your project. Once you decide what you need, do your research and decide where you want to buy panels. For the Chevy truck, for the trucks, I really do go to LMC. They've always done a good job. It looks like I got these cab supports from LMC. They're not AMB panels. They look like knockoffs, but they're just cab supports. So in my mind, those are not critical pieces. Even if they're bad, I can beat them back into submission. I don't want to, but you can do that. For truck parts, I use LMC. For car parts, I try to stick with AMD, just personal preference. Once you've done your forensics on your car, or your vehicle, you got your panels. Now you need to take the panels and you need to compare them to the original pieces. With the thought in your mind, you need to decide on a reference point. I can't stress this enough. You need to decide on what the reference point is you're going to use when you're putting the patch in. Because remember, you got to cut the piece you're replacing. You got to cut it all out. So at some point, there will be no reference here. Right? When I cut this cab support off, it will all be gone, and I will have to put that new metal in that hole. If I don't have a reference so that I can somehow feel somewhat assured that this end is where it's supposed to be and that end's where it's supposed to be, it makes a lot of work. That is the piece that when I've tried to help people in the past, that's the biggest issue in terms of panels. I mean, they can, even ones that are wrong, while they got their own special problems, the more fundamental issue is not settling on a reference point. You need to know before you cut that panel out where you're going to reference the new panel to. I know I'm repeating myself, but that's a big deal. That is really a big deal. Make sure you know what your references are. My belief is, as long as the panel was close, chances are you're going to be able to make it work, even if you mess up somewhere along the way. But if you don't put it in from the get-go where it was going to be, it's never going to be right. That sounds pretty simple, doesn't it? That's only 3 steps. Before I forget, and this kind of applies to, all body work, make sure you get it cleaned up, right? And if you're going to hide it, if the stuff you're cleaning up is going to be hidden, you can't get to later, you need to clean it up, you need to rust protect it, and you need to paint it. I'm an old farm boy. I really like the red rusty metal primer that I think I buy it at Atwoods or Lowe's or somebody, but just the Rust-Oleum rusty metal primer. Let that dry and I just douse it with usually black spray paint just to get it all coated inside. If you want another color, that's fine, but not gonna get another chance to get it all cleaned up and get it painted. Well, if you found this interesting, go ahead and subscribe. Leave a like, leave a comment. You agree, disagree, leave a comment. I'll leave a playlist. There'll be a playlist pop up here somewhere on this 1967. I think we're, getting close to 20 videos now on it. It's been interesting. Anyway, until next time, I'm Random at RandomRodShop, and I'm out of here.